Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne. And in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. So let's get started with today's show. Now, today we're going to continue to talk about the results of the 2018 self-publishing survey. And today we're going to concentrate on whether fiction authors or nonfiction authors make more money. Now, in the survey, we had, let me just pull up what we did have in terms of fiction versus nonfiction authors. We had 51.72% of the survey participants were fiction authors, and 64.14% were nonfiction authors. So pretty balanced, and if you add them all up, you'll note that that's over 100%. So we do have some authors who do both fiction and nonfiction. Personally, I don't get that. I couldn't write fiction if my life depended on it. So kudos to you for those of you who can do both. You're multi-talented, so good for you. But here's the bigger issue. When I separated out the fiction authors and the nonfiction authors, I wanted to know which one made more. And I hate to tell you, or maybe it's encouraging to tell you, that neither one makes more than the other. The most popular answer for both fiction and nonfiction was $1 to $99 in income a year. So nobody's winning that game right now. But I did want to look at it a little bit deeper. So I did some more statistical analysis, because when I just look at the raw data, there's really no difference between the two. Most popular answers were pretty even. But then I did some population variance studies comparing fiction and nonfiction, because there was a variety of answers in terms of income. And I wanted to see if any of that changed what the result was. And again, no result. Now, in that population variance test, I included everybody. So if you did both fiction and nonfiction, I added you to both fiction and nonfiction. And I thought, well, I really wanted to know if the pure play fiction and pure play nonfiction authors, which one makes more. And so I pulled those out of all of those who did both. I pulled those out of the test, and again, no difference. I mean, we're looking at an average income for both that is the same. So it really doesn't matter then which you do, fiction or nonfiction. And you should do what you're most talented at. In the writing forums and whatnot throughout the web, I see some authors who are always looking for the next hot market, whether that's fiction or nonfiction, and they're just going to gravitate towards that because it's a hot market. I don't think that's the way to go, because one, you're always going to be chasing the next hot market, and within a very short period of time, you'll often find that the hot markets are the not markets. So then you've kind of put yourself into the position where you're chasing everything and you're not concentrating your efforts. You're also not serving a unified fan base. If you're always chasing a hot market, that means you have to keep developing a new market for every one of your books. That's crazy. And it's exhausting, first of all. And number two, you're probably not talented in everything. I know I'm not. So do what's right for you in terms of your talents and in terms of the audience that you resonate with. Now, the question comes up, and this is particularly for nonfiction. Um, they use their books as a marketing tool and to get exposure or build an expert status in their markets. So, do they make more? Now, with this survey, I didn't ask for business income. I was strictly asking for book income. So they could make more. So nonfiction authors could make more. And with nonfiction also, you also have the boost that SEO or search engine optimization with keywords and that sort of thing. You generally have more of a boost with that in nonfiction than you do with fiction. So in terms of strict book income, it doesn't seem to be an issue, but with maybe a nonfiction book that you use to build another part of your business, it might help. But again, I didn't ask for business income. I was strictly asking for book income. And it doesn't seem to matter which one you write. Everybody's doing about the same thing. So I hope you have found that either encouraging or reassuring that you should stick with what works for you. Now, if you found this helpful or reassuring, I would appreciate it if you would wander over to iTunes and give the Heidi Thorne Show a nice rating and review. And while you're there, you want to subscribe to the Heidi Thorne Show so you don't miss an episode where we talk about important issues like this. And if you're not on iTunes and you just like to listen elsewhere, I'm also on, okay, so I'm totally on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean. The video podcast is on YouTube. And if you want to listen to it on your Alexa device, you just need to find the Heidi Thorne Show with the AnyPod skill. So a lot of different ways to listen to this show and give you the information you need about your self-publishing career. Now, I would also really appreciate it, excuse me, if you would share this show with your author friends on social media. My self-published books are on Amazon.com. You just have to search for my name, Heidi Thorne, and you should see my author page come up. Just go to my author page and all my books are listed there. My books, print books, ebooks, audiobooks, and my audiobooks are also available on Audible and iTunes audiobooks. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is simply HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode. And in the meantime, have a great day.